Although the presentation is going to be in English, but I want to introduce Paul in Persian. That's something that I've never done. That's for you. خیلی ممنون که اومدین امشب. در خدمت پل هستیم. میتونم بگم 90% حرفی که من میزنم رو میفهمم. پل دکتراش توی کریپتوگرافی هستش. چجوری آشنا شدیم با هم دیگه؟ فکر کنم از طریق کفلیت بودش که با هم دیگه آشنا شدیم و بعد یه مدتی ما زبان چنج میکردیم با هم. من 1 ساعت فارسی درس میدادم و پل 1 ساعت به من فرانسه درس میدادم و خیلی قشنگ فارسی میخونه، خیلی قشنگ حتی مینویسه و اینکه چجوری علاقه‌مند شده به فرهنگ ایرانی و خواسته بین این همه زبان‌های دنیا فارسی رو یاد بگیره، شاید یه داستانی باشه که خودش یه روزی رو تعریف کنه. حالا اگر امروز هم وقت شد میتونه امروز باشه. و چند باری در شناختن فرهنگ کبک به ایرانی‌ها توی کافلیت جلسه داشته و یه بار راجع به فرهنگ امروز کبک صحبت کرده، یک بار راجع به ریاضیات خیام و این بار راجع به ترانه‌های کبک. مرسی از اینکه قبول کردی راجع به ترانه‌های کبک صحبت کنی برامون.
Salam. Good evening, everyone. So tonight we will talk about Chanson québécoise. Where is this? So chanson means song. Québécoise means from Quebec, and it's not your lucky day because I'm not an expert in this topic. I'm a math teacher, but tonight you will hear about Chanson québécoise in English to an Iranian group of people by a math teacher. Right? Never happened today. Okay, so and how many of you guys were at the previous presentation when it was just on everyday culture of Quebec? Maybe 2 or 3 people. So let's maybe there are some things that I will repeat. Okay, so don't get bored. There will be also new things, and most of you were not here in the first talk about culture of Quebec, but that's okay. You will understand everything. I will make a few general remarks about Chanson québécoise, meaning Quebec songs, because there are topics that are going to come back again and over again among all the songs that I want you to hear tonight. We will hear a few songs. How many time do I have?
1 hour and a half.
Okay, we shall see. And some of the themes that will occur over and over again tonight is, of course, politics. We cannot talk about Chanson québécoise or Quebec song or Quebec songwriting without talking about politics. The politics of Quebec is special in the sense that we are the most important place in North America where people speak French, of course, and that makes this place special, and the culture of Quebec special, and the song will reflect that. Also, you will hear a lot about le pays. It's pays in French means the country, and there's even a song by Gilles Vigneault, a very famous poet. Gilles Vigneault is this one, born in 1928. The name of the song is Mon pays n'est pas un pays, which means my country is not a country, and the next line is it's winter. So the line goes like this: Mon pays ce n'est pas un pays, mon pays c'est l'hiver. Okay? My country is not a country, my country is winter. So we will talk about the country which does not exist in a certain sense. Of course, we're living in Canada, but there is this hope among a certain kernel of the population that someday Quebec will be an independent country, and this theme will occur many times during this talk. And the fact that in that song he says my country is no country, it's winter. We will talk about winter. Okay, winter is a theme that will come back over and over again also, and not only winter but the seasons and the weather, because here in you must have noticed it when you talk to people around with Quebecers, the first thing you talk is weather, because either it's very bad, either it's very hot in summer, either it's going to rain, and when it's a nice day then we're so happy that we still talk about weather. So, and also about geography, because this country, or this non-country, is very, very, very big. We are here, you know that to go to Quebec City it's a 3-hour ride on car. And then just think about this is just one part. This is very huge. I mean, it's so if you want to go up there, Montréal, Quebec is this time. So Montréal, Quebec, this 3 hours. I don't know. It's very big, and we have poets and songwriters coming from many different parts of this country. Of course, Montreal, Quebec. We have Gilles Vigneault, which I just talked to you earlier. It comes from Natashquan. It is this small village here. Félix Leclerc comes from the island here, just next to Quebec City. It's the father of Quebec songwriting. And I will talk about 2 other songwriters which comes from Abitibi. Abitibi is this region here. I can do it with my pencil. Val d'Or is the most important city in Rouyn-Noranda. 2 very famous poets and very good poets come from that region. Raoul Duguay, and more who is still singing is Richard Desjardins, and so on. Also, another theme that we will talk about is the very language, the French language, the way people talk, and the way the song is, in which language the song is written. Of course, they are all written in French, and they will be sung in French. But there are 2 kinds of French. There's the international French, or French from France, stamp établi, or there is this Mohavere that we speak in everyday life, which we call joual. Okay, and if for working people, working class people, joual can be very strong in the sense that it's almost a separate dialect from French. That French people coming here, hearing this way of talking, will have a very hard time to understand. So at some point in history, around the 1970s, the songs started to be written and sung in joual instead of standard French. And this was a statement at that time. Also, theater plays and novels and so on were written in joual. And that was kind of a revolution at that moment. So we will talk about this. And the problem of the identity. Who are we? Or maybe we don't know who we are, or maybe we are nothing, or what are we going to be, or whatever. This theme of the identity. Why do we ask ourselves this question? Because we don't feel like being Canadian, because, for example, if you travel to, me myself, if I travel to Vancouver, I don't really feel at home, you know, I don't feel like this is my home country. And neither the United States of this, and I feel at home in Quebec, but Quebec is not a country. So yet again, we keep going on this theme of whether we are Canadian or Québécois, Canadien ou Québécois. And this word Canadien, from which the name of this huge country from Atlantic to Pacific, Canada, we don't know where this name comes. Maybe Spanish, a Canada, there's nothing here. You know, because the Spanish, when they came here, the native people would tell them a Canada, so go away. But of course, it's not true. There are many things here. But in the before, I would say before the 60s, the 1960s, when you say Canadien, it would mean French Canadian. You see. And the word Québécois didn't really exist at that time. For example, you know that the hockey team in Montreal is Canadiens de Montréal, okay? And really, this Canadiens de Montréal, Canadien means French Canadians. That because the team at that time was mostly with French Canadian players. And if you read the name of the hockey team in English, it will not be Canadiens with an A, it will be written like in French, Canadien with an E. So the word for telling who we are, it was originally Canadien, the French Canadian meaning. And then, over the years, we realized that, well, okay, Canada is very big, and there are all those English people also calling themselves Canadians. So what are we? So we, around the 70s, we choose to call ourselves Québécois instead of Canadiens. And even the name of the separatist political party is Parti Québécois. It was a revolution at that time to call a political party like this. So this theme of either being Canadien or Québécois will come over again also. And of course, the theme of Chanson québécoise is very huge. This is an anthology of chansons québécoises, and it's just a tiny part of everything. So there are many things that I will not talk about, many songwriters that I will not talk about tonight, and it was very difficult for me to choose just a few songs for you to listen. And probably that if I'm the only Québécois here tonight, so if Jean-Christophe were here, he might have seen my choice of songs and said, how could you possibly not talk of that song or that singer, because there are really many. So I made a choice, a personal choice, but also a choice that shows the main stuff that you need to know. And of course, there's all those popular songs that are not chansons à texte. Chanson à texte means a song with a text, meaning meaningful text, not just I love you, darling, and so on. Okay. For example, I will not talk about Céline Dion because she's not really a songwriter, and she doesn't sing chanson à texte, although she has a fantastic voice. And we will not talk about English songwriters. There are many. Leonard Cohen is one of them. Leonard Cohen was born in Montreal. And also native people songs. There's a group called Cafelitt who make folk songs, but written not in English, not in French, but in the language of the native people. I don't know, I think they come from that region. They crie. So I will not talk about it. I will just talk about French-speaking songwriters who make either political songs or very beautiful poetry. Okay, so that's for the general remarks. So first thing I would like you to hear, because we will hear songs now, we will listen to some songs, is an old traditional French songs. Those were the first thing that were sung in the 17th century, 18th century, and even 19th century, and over the years they have been transmitted to us. The influences are, of course, from France, from England, from Irish songs, from Scandinavian songs, and so on. And since the people were working hard and didn't have a lot of money, so they have very simple musical instrument, if at all. So I would like you to see a tiny part of a movie called L'Acadie, l'Acadie. It's a very beautiful movie. It's about the student protest. We're right in the middle of a student protest right now in Montreal. But it was in 1968, and l'Acadie is this region, not in Quebec. This is New Brunswick. Wait a minute. You have Halifax. Yes, okay, Moncton. Okay, this region is Acadie. Acadie is a French-speaking region of New Brunswick, so they have the same, for the songs, they have the same old traditional songs that we have, or very similar ones. So I will make you listen to one of the songs. And it's taken from a movie called L'Acadie, l'Acadie, which is a very beautiful movie about this. It's a documentary about this protest that was going on at that time. And you will hear the song, then you will see the student talking, chatting on the beach. And try to listen to their accent. They have a very strong Acadian accent, which is different from Québécois. And then the song will resume. So let's listen to that. Ouch! Is it going to be too loud?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I will control it from here. Where is it?
C'est les plus belles journées de l'année qui sont
Oui, il y en a plus comme ça. Ah, là, je pense à l'université, j'ai la pointe de discours.
Entre la mer et la terre, entre la mer et le feu, entre le soleil et la lune.
Ah, peut-être avant tout. Ça serait l'université où tout le monde irait tout.
C'est l'université où tout le monde irait tout nu.
Ah oui, c'est chaud.
Puis là, il reste plus les cours de Pergament sur la sexualité, l'amour et la vie.
On sortira de là avec les demandes avant.
travailler dans le Québec, par exemple.
C'est obsédé, là,
Je suis pas obsédée. Qu'est-ce que tu penses que je peux faire au Nouveau-Brunswick? Je veux travailler à Moncton. Qu'est-ce que tu penses que j'aurais pu faire?
travailler secrétaire du maire, tu peux gagner d'autres choses, c'est l'amour.
L'amour, c'est la plus belle chose qui peut exister quand on peut l'avoir. Ça va ouais.
Je me marie pas bientôt, je ferai bien du canal. Je mettrai le feu partout, je mettrai le feu dans le village. Je ferai passer le loup dans le verre vocal. Je ferai sauter le pivot dans tout le jardinage.
Okay, could you understand what they were saying when you were talking or not? So their accent is very strong, and it's even for French people from France, it's difficult to understand. But they were talking about life, about maybe moving to Montreal or Quebec because there are no jobs over there, and about the moon and the sea and vacation is so great and love and so on. And the song is a traditional song, and you notice that in the song he's doing something with his mouth. This is called turlute, and this is very typical of those songs, and in the next song you will hear it's going to be a modern song from the 70s or the 80s by Raoul Duguay, and he will use this way of turluting, if I can use this verb, in the song. It's a reference to those traditional songs. Also, what are those songs we're talking about? Very simple thing. We were talking about the most beautiful girl in the village. I wanted to marry her, and I asked her to marry me, and she said, well, you have to be rich to marry me, and so on, blah, 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 and it's good. The song can be very, very long because they were using those songs when they were going to work, to cut the wood, or on the canoe when they were traveling on the river, and so on. So they needed those very rhythmical songs and very simple songs, and they don't talk about politics, they don't talk about the winter, even they talk about the stuff you had in France in the Middle Ages or stuff like that. And when the scholars from France arrived in Quebec in modern times, they wanted to study what are the songs that are being sung here. They discovered that people were still singing traditional songs that have been lost in Europe, that have been preserved over here. So this is a kind of a typical song of that era, and so the next song is a modern song by a poet called Raoul Duguay, who comes from Abitibi. I told you Abitibi was this region over there, so there was lots of woods, there are lots of mines, gold mines, and people are working very hard. And this song is going to be political, and there will be a reference in that song to religious melodies, and a very ironic one, because he uses a word which is colonisé. Colonisé means colonized. Okay, and he stretches this word using a religious melody. You will hear it, and so this is very ironic because the religious people, the clergy, was very close to the power in the years 30, 40, and 50, before the Quiet Revolution in the 60s. And it's also a song that will talk about the country, but he means this part of the country, his own native country, and freedom. At the end of many songs you will hear tonight liberté, which means freedom, or libéré, which means to free, azadi, or azadi karda. And this is one of those songs. So you will hear many references to jazz, to traditional songs, to lute, and to religious melodies. So let's try it. And this is kind of a political song. Okay, alors this one, and I will jump to.
Dans ce pays continent de la carte, monter mon travail sous la terre, mais je creuse dans l'or, ça porte vraiment, tellement nous sommes sur la carte. Mon pays qui me grandit, avec mon tout premier là, on y croit à mon bout d'argent, les moments qui dorment, et c'est y'en est des bonnes, des portes en or, et des enfer qui vont longtemps. J'aime bien jouer dans la maman, pour les parties, les bilans, quand j'allais au shop, en 1900, en Abitibi, dans mon pays, he said dans mon pays again, so he's talking about the country. Dans mon pays, instead of saying colonisé, he started to sing like this in reference to the religious. And what is this song talking about? Just that the people in this country are very strong people. They're working hard. They have arms like rock and legs like trees and so on. And so I just wanted you to hear it, to see the influence of all those traditional songs that are still being used today in very modern songs. So that was for La Bolduc. And then I need to talk to you about La Bolduc. La Bolduc is working class girl from the 30s. La Bolduc, she was born in 1894, dead in 1941. She came from Gaspésie. Gaspésie is this region. And she was a working class girl singing for working class people. I talked to you about this in the last talk. And she was immensely popular because she was singing very simple songs that people were they like to hear because they were funny songs, and she's also using the lute. You will hear it in the song, and again the theme are not political, but they are somewhat funny. And in this song she's making fun of Americans that come here in Quebec to buy some booze because there is prohibition down there.
and we make a lot of money with that. And she's making fun of the American. So there is sometimes a few hints that there is some political topics being, but it's not a political song. It's just a funny song that is just nice to hear or to dance with. So you get the idea. So you heard it Churité. And she was an expert at that kind of stuff, and people loved her just for that, and for the funny songs that she was singing. So maybe you heard a few words that you recognize, les Américains, and so those were the times in the 1930s. And later on, after the Second World War, there has been a period where, of course, the clergy, the religious people, had their take on our society. They had a lot of power, and even they were very close to the political power. So they were controlling everything, and they were saying to women to have lots of children because it's written so in the Bible, and that's why the family were very big. Okay, we had families like 10, 12, 18 children, and also it helped to make the French Canadians survive at that moment because of the war and so on. So. In the song that you will hear next, it's a very old song from 19th century called Un Canadien errant, a wandering Canadian. Again, Canadian here means French Canadian. And it's a song that has been written after the troubles of 1837. I told you about the Patriotes in the last talk. What were the Patriots? They were French Canadians fighting, well, actually fighting with guns with the English army. And some of them have been deported all around the world, including in Australia. So the song says it's a Canadian abroad, far from his country, and he's very lonesome, and he sees the river, and he talks to the river and says, I don't know, river, where you're going, but if you're going back to my country, tell my friends that I still remember them. So it's a very beautiful song. It's basically a political song, but if you read the text, there's nothing political in the text. It has been written with a political meaning, but you can use this song, and it's still just a very beautiful song about someone who feels lonely and thinks about his country. So this song has been covered by Leonard Cohen. He sings it in French, on one of his CD, and also people like Nana Mouskouri. So it's a very old song, beautiful song, Canadiens errants. And here you will hear it sing. It's almost when I hear that, it's almost a laugh for me, because it will be sung in the style of the 50s and the 40s. So it's sung by a family, and you will see the picture. Everybody is happy. There's the father, the mother, the children, and they are all smiling, and they're all very neat. We call this the La Bonne Chanson. It was called like this. You could buy books. It would be written La Bonne Chanson on the book, and it could be a songbook. You could put it on the piano for those who had money enough to buy a piano, and they were all good songs. Why good? Because the clergy would say those songs are good. You can listen to them. Other songs would talk about sex and other stuff like that wouldn't be allowed. So we call this La Bonne Chanson, the good songs, the songs that you are allowed to sing. So un Canadien errant here will be sing in that style. Okay, so let's listen to that. It's a nice song. It's beautifully sung by this family. It's La Bonne Chanson. They sing it just the proper way. And the irony of this, it's when it has been written in the 19th century. It was a very harsh political song. but now it's a nice bonne chanson. And you heard, so maybe you can hear now the words. You can check for them. You heard Canadien and le pays. These words you will hear over and over again. And then we have we need to talk about Félix Leclerc. Félix Leclerc is the father of Quebec song. Okay, he was born in Félix Leclerc, 1914, and died in 1988. This one. So I will give Asha this file, and when you click on Félix Leclerc, you will end up on Wikipedia, and you have a few songs on YouTube here. Félix Leclerc was we could say was the first chansonnier. Chansonnier means songwriter. In the beginning, he was writing about nature, and at the end, he wrote more political songs about the country again, and he was the first, or one of the first songwriters, Quebec songwriters, who went to France and make France discover our culture. So in the clip that you will see, is actually singing in France. And it's the beginning of a period where they call this la période des boîtes à chansons. You had, in boîte à chansons would be a small cafe like here, that you would have a singer with his guitar like Georges Brassens, or in that style they would sing songs slightly political, but not that much. Love songs also. And Félix Leclerc is the canonical poet of Quebec culture. Children learn Félix Leclerc songs in schools because he writes in a very simple way that children can understand, but it's still very beautiful. He has written children's songs and stories also, and theater play and so on. So, so if there were one national poet in Quebec, it would be him. You see. So let's try to listen to this one now.
Les blés sont mûrs et la terre est mouillée. Et quand la boulée, l'oiseau si beau hier s'est envolé. La porte est close sur le jardin salé. Comme un vieux radeau oublié, sur la neige je vais hiverner. Photos d'enfants qui courent dans les champs, sur mes seuls joies pour passer le temps. Mes cabanes d'oiseaux sont vidées, le vent pleure dans ma cheminée, et dans mon cœur je m'en vais composer une hymne au printemps pour celle qui m'a quitté. Quand mon ami viendra dans la rivière, au mois de mai, après le dur hiver, je sortirai bras nus dans la lumière et lui dirai le salut de la terre. Toi, les fleurs ont recommencé dans les tables qui riaient nouveau-nés. Viens voir la vieille barrière mouillée, endimanchée de toiles d'araignée. Les bourgeons sortent de la mort, papillons ont des manteaux d'or. Près du ruisseau sont alignés les fées, et les crapauds chantent la liberté, et les crapauds chantent la liberté.
So what did he say at the end? Et les crapauds chantent la liberté. It's the name of the song is L'hymne au printemps, the spring anthem. So he's talking about the spring and nature and so on. And at the end he says, et les crapauds chantent la liberté. What is a crapaud? It's a frog. He chante la liberté. Liberté is freedom, yet again. And what does it mean, frog? Do you know what frog means? It's us. We are the frogs, Quebecers. That's all the English people call us. So, why? Because French people from France eat frogs. So that's our nickname when English people talk about us in some funny way or not so funny way. They call the frogs, French Canadians. And he says at the end of this song, which is a very nice looking song about nature and so on in spring, that les crapauds chantent la liberté, means the frogs are singing for freedom. So it's very ironic here, and probably most of the people listening to him here in Paris didn't understand what he meant. But you do now. Another poet that I absolutely need to talk to you, to talk about, is Gilles Vigneault. So, I like Félix Leclerc a lot, personally, and Gilles Vigneault a little less. Félix Leclerc comes from this Ile d'Orléans, and Gilles Vigneault comes from over the Natashquan. So this part of the country is pretty similar to this one, very lots of trees and lakes and so on, nature. And Gilles Vigneault would be national poet number 2, or maybe some people would put it number 1. Gilles Vigneault is still living today, and he will be on the 22nd of April for Printemps Québécois here in Montreal. But he doesn't have a voice. He sings. I don't like hearing singing. So what I will make you listen to now is a woman singing Gilles Vigneault's song, because at that time in the 60s, women would only interpret songs and not compose them. Just later in the 80s, women would start to compose their own song. And the woman who was going to sing is Pauline Julien. She was the wife of Gérard Godin, a political figure from Parti Québécois. Both of them were very politically engaged. But and this song talks about the way people talk. And again, at the end, I think there is liberté or something again. So. So you will hear the song talks about all the different ways people are talking around Quebec, and you can hear the sea in their way they are talking, and they talk about and at the end of the song they talk about freedom. Okay, so that's basically it. So let's listen to that.
Les gens de mon pays, ce sont gens de parole, les gens de causerie, qui parlent pour s'entendre, et parlent pour parler. Il faut les écouter, c'est parfois vérité, et c'est parfois mensonge, mais la plupart du temps, c'est le bonheur qui dit, comme il faudrait de temps, pour saisir le bonheur, à travers la misère, emmaillé au plaisir, tant d'en rêver tout haut, que d'en parler à l'aise. Parlant de mon pays, je vous entends parler, et j'en ai dans son pied, et musique aux oreilles, et du loin au plus loin, de ce neige désert, où vous vous entendez à jeter des villages. Je vous répéterai, vos paroles et vos dires, vos romans et parures, jusqu'à perdre mon nom, ou à tant écouter, pour qu'il ne reste plus de moi-même qu'un peu, de votre écho sonore. Je vous entends jaser sur les perrons des vols, et de chaque côté, des léons des clôtures, je vous entends chanter dans la demi-saison, votre tronc couré, et votre hiver si longue, je vous entends rêver, dans l'espoir de tout temps, il est question de moi, de vente et de gréement, de l'amour pur, d'espoir et de récolte, d'amour et du voisin qui va marier sa fille. Voix noire, voix durcie, écorce de carnage, voix du pays plein champ, et voix des amoureux douces, voix attendries, des amoureux d'un village, voix des beaux anciens, dont on sent les pyramides, puis il y a des écoles, et qui ne soit une fête avec vos bras, avec votre bonne musique. Je vous entends rêver tous comme un rivière, je vous entends pleurer comme un voile de village, je vous entends grandir comme un chute en montagne, je vous entends rouler comme un pari de poudre, je vous entends grandir comme un plein de 4 heures, je vous entends cogner comme un maire en falaise, je vous entends passer comme un glace en déballe, je vous entends de ma parler de liberté.
So at the end of the song, she says, je vous entends ceci, je vous entends cela. Je vous entends means I hear you. I hear you talk of this, I hear you talk of that, and at the end, tomorrow I will hear you talk of freedom. So it's a very beautiful poem, but when it's sung by Gilles Vigneault himself, I think it's terrible, so you with a nice voice. Again, in this era of how much time do I have left? It's still, oh, it's already 8.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. I wanted
Half an hour.
The next song is my favorite of all-time song. This song is about Manicouagan. Manicouagan is this. Yeah, you see this round reservoir. I think it was formed with meteorites. And in this region, in the 60s, they would build hydroelectric dams, and you see it's very far from anywhere interesting in the province. You see, people who would go there to work would feel very lonely, and it would be just a bunch of guys. And the song is about a guy who is writing to his beloved living in Montreal, and he says, if you knew how lonely we feel over here at Manic, this is called Manicouagan or Manic, you would write to me more often, because and he says, it's a very beautiful song, I like it very much, and he says, if you know how lonely it were, you would write to me more often, and if you don't know what to write, tell me about the streets in Montreal, tell me anything. Or you could just write the word I love you 100 times. I will read it 100 times, and 100 times 100 is not much for those people who love each other. So it's very beautiful, and it's a very personal song. It's not political, but you feel the vastness of the country in the song. So yet again, it's talking about geography, or if you wish, about the country. So let's listen to him. So how much? Later. Okay. This would be Georges d'Or. So it's the same era of same period of boîte à chansons. You see the style like Félix Leclerc before. And these songs are written in French Quétabi. It's not joie. Okay.
Si tu savais comme on s'ennuie à la Manic, tu m'écrirais bien plus souvent à la Manicouagan. Parfois je pense à toi si fort, je regrette ton âme et ton Si tu savais comment s'ennuie à la manie, tu écrirais plus souvent à la manie, quoi non.
Yes, the last line he says is si tu savais comment s'ennuie, if you knew how lonely we feel, tu m'écrirais bien plus souvent, you would write to me much more often. So this is my favorite, all-time favorite song. So I see that time is running, and I had many other songs to make you hear. But what I will do, and I will go a little faster now. We are reaching the 1970s. The next song is from 1968. It's from Robert Charlebois. Now you have we were in the countryside and we come back to the city, and we have the influences of rock and roll and American music. So now it's going in all kinds of directions. And but still, you will hear song about le pays, the country, and the song. This song is more about identity. Who are we? And it's a very difficult song to decode, even for Quebecers. If you listen to this song for the first time, you can hear all the words, and it's written in joual. Now you will hear the first song tonight in joual, which is the dialect we speak in the street. 1968, and it's a very difficult song to decode because it's kind of surrealistic. It's about a guy who lost his girlfriend because she went to she became a nun, a religious girl, and then he talks about this and that he doesn't know where he is and where he's going, and at the end of the song, well, what happens? Guess what? He sees his ex-girlfriend in the bed with his best friend. So it's a sad song, and it's a song about not knowing where to go, who you are. Why? Because at that time in the 1960s, we were right in the middle of the Révolution Tranquille, and what happened in Révolution Tranquille is that we said to the religious people, well, that's enough, okay? So people quit the churches, and if you do this too quickly, then maybe you feel like a little bit lost because you lose all your points of reference. So the song is called Lindbergh. Lindbergh, as you know, is the guy who went from which way? The first, I think, is from Europe to New York in an airplane, and the theme of the song is taking an airplane for where? You don't know, and okay, let's listen to it. But just the beginning. That would be this one, yes.
Saint-Esprit de Duplessis sans m'avertir. Alors je suis parti sur Québécois, Transworld, Northern, Eastern, Western, people American. Je sais plus où je suis rendu.
So you hear and say, je sais plus où je suis rendu. This is joie, means je sais plus, means je ne sais plus, means I don't know. Où je suis rendu means où je suis rendu, means where I'm up to. So that comes all over again. Je sais plus où je suis rendu, I don't know where I am, I don't know where I'm going to. And it's very hard to decode. For example, when he says that ma Sophie a pris l'avion Saint-Esprit de Duplessis, it means that Sophie, my girlfriend, take an airplane, an avion de Duplessis. Duplessis was a political character of that time. He was like a small dictator. He was the one representing the period before La Révolution Tranquille. So, and he was close to the religious people. So when he says that Sophie took the airplane of Duplessis, it means she went to religion or what, I don't know. So it's all mixed up like this. So it's a very famous song from that era. It would be the most important song because it was a small revolution to write stuff like this and with psychedelic touch and so on. And also in that period, Robert Charles was very famous for that, but there were all kinds of other people more influenced with folk singer like Bob Dylan and singing about nature and friends and smoking pot with friends and flowers and the birds and a very nice song of this period we will hear the beginning. It's called Bélier en fièvre. Just because it's very nice, I will really make you listen to it.
C'est le printemps, les beaux gens germent, comme pas à pas monte la sève, qui se dégourdit et ton manteau, d'un couteau chaud des souvenirs prêts à surgir. Les yeux sautent dans
this is very typical of that era. You see that it's going in all kinds of directions. It's very different from Charlebois. Charlebois was written in Joual. This song is written in very normal French. And it's about nature, the four seasons, spring, summer, and so on. What else? I need to... Okay, maybe a last one? Or do we have time or not?
Last two.
Last two? Okay. In that case, in quite another direction, I will make you. We will listen to Dédé Fortin. Dédé Fortin was a member of a rock group called Les Colocs. Coloc means colocataire, means the people you're living with in an apartment when you don't have much money and you're a student. We call this coloc. It means you don't have money to own a house, you don't have money enough to be your own, to be alone in your flat, so you have to share a flat with other people. We call this coloc. So the name of the rock group was Coloc. And this guy was the leader of the group, the lead singer of the group. His name is Dédé Fortin. And he was a fan of the Japanese writer Mishima. I don't know if you know him. But Mishima wrote... Mishima committed suicide with harakiri, you know harakiri. And indeed, Dédé Fortin committed himself also suicide by with a knife in his so he was a very troubled person, obviously. And this song is very tough also. It's about a guy a junkie basically, and that he sings about his friend, which is a junkie, that he couldn't help him and didn't know what to do about him because he was afraid, or I don't know. So we can hear this one, just the beginning maybe.
From which year is it?
What?
Which year is it?
This one would be the 80s or 90s. Would be. Wait a minute. This 1997. So it's pretty close to us.
Ça fait longtemps que je l'ai pas vu, il était parti, il était pas là. La dernière fois que j'ai parlé, son cœur était mal à manger. Sa tête était dans un étau, il était pas beau. Il y avait de la côte dans les yeux, il y avait des hauts dans le sang. Il y avait tout son cœur qui penchait par en avant. Il y avait le goût de vomir, il y avait envie de mourir. Qu'est-ce qu'on fait ensemble? Moi j'avais le goût de m'enfuir. Je l'ai laissé tout seul au bord de la catastrophe. Pardonne-moi, j'ai pas voulu, j'ai pas voulu. Pas voulu t'abandonner dans le moment le plus rough. Je suis le lâche des lâches, pas le temps de brûler
So this is clearly Joual, okay? This is urban song about drug and so on. And so there's a movie about the life of Dédé Fortin. The name of the movie is Dédé à travers les brumes, which means Dédé through the clouds somehow. And maybe a last song by Richard Desjardins. Now that would be, in my opinion, national poet number one. So I told you about Félix Leclerc from the 50s, Gilles Vigneault from the 60s and 70s, and Gilles Vigneault is still alive. And Richard Desjardins would be the national poet right now, and his poetry is very, very powerful. And he comes from Abitibi, like Raoul Duguay. Abitibi is here. And he made also movies. He's a movie director with another guy. He made 3 movies. One of them is L'Erreur Boréale, that it's a documentary about the exploitation of the forest here, which is a shame because the companies to which we sell territory, if you watch the movie, you learn all the bad stuff about what they are doing. And he made another movie about the mines with the same idea that we give those mines to the multinational companies, and they don't care about the environment and so on. So he's a very politically engaged, but he has also very beautiful love songs. This one is a surrealistic song about a woman. He compares a woman to a ship in the bedroom, and he says that I am the ocean and I want to touch your feet, your foot. So it's let's listen to it. It will be the last one for today, and maybe after that I can answer some questions. Which one would that be? Sorry. Oh, I don't have it. Oh, no. I don't have it. How come? No. Wait a minute. I lost it. It's gone. Okay. Okay, anyway, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions.